What is up, guys? Kevin from the KO Podcast. Today we're doing a no face cam video, but we are doing my NFL Draft Big Board of 2021. I have just started my big board. This is the first time I'm making one. So please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll probably drop one once every week. These will be Saturday videos, so I guess like you could say we could call this a new series. Saturday draft videos, something like that. Just probably every Saturday you will be getting an NFL draft video. So we are going to start with my NFL Big Board of 2021. I have ranked players from 1 to 15. I have just started it again, so probably every week you'll get a new bunch of players. And we're going to start with players number 1 through 15. Here we go. So our first player will be Trevor Lawrence. How can you not choose Trevor Lawrence at your number 1? Trevor Lawrence had a great season. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick in my opinion. That will not change at all. I'll make mock drafts, probably 2 or 3 of them, probably 3 mock drafts, and I'll probably exchange, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence for that number 1 pick. But most of the time, you'll see it'll be Trevor Lawrence at number 1. And that's what. And yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence. Look at the stats right there on the description I put for him. 3,153 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 5 picks. That's easily the number 1 pick. Jacksonville has their future guy right there. They literally stole him from the Jets. So New York has a problem with stealing, I guess, because we saw this with Zion Williamson in the NBA. Happened to the Knicks. It just happened to the Jets. If I would not be surprised if the Jags take Justin Fields, because of the rumor with Urban Meyer possibly heading over to Jacksonville. I would suppose Urban Meyer's is, he was the OSU coach, Ohio State University, so he'd be like, hey, let's get Justin Fields here. I know the guy a lot more, so I know what the current coach told me about him. He's a really good guy. Let's bring him here. And then the Jets do wind up taking Trevor Lawrence. Now, honestly, if I'm the Jets, I'm not taking a quarterback. I would take a star wide receiver. And the guy that's coming up next is the guy I think the Jets should take. Next player is Devonta Smith, the wide receiver out of Alabama. He is one heck of a player. Very good player. He won the Associated Press Player of the Year award with 98 receptions, 1,511 yards, 7 receptions, yards, and then he had 768 yards after the catch, which is really good. He's a stud. The reasons why I have him here is simply because of the consistency that he has showed. Out of all these receivers, he's been the most consistent. And some teams that would absolutely need him are the Eagles, the Dolphins, and the Jets, and etc. Because there's a lot of teams that need wide receivers. You could also say the Giants. So this is why I have him at player number 2. Now, this board is subject to change. I'll probably be switching it up, so if there's a change, that'll be the first thing I cover in the Saturday videos, talking about my big board. Next player, Justin Fields. Obviously, it has to be Justin Fields in number 3. He's the second best quarterback in this draft. The only player that is ahead of him, that could be reaching up to him, is the quarterback from the third quarterback, which, as of right now, I forgot his name. I'll probably put it on the screen right now. But yeah, Justin Fields is my player number 3, second best quarterback in this year's draft. Boosting up his draft stock was the game against Clemson, where he threw for 6 touchdowns. And he played, I think, half the game injured. Last year wasn't the greatest year. He put up 1,906 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Fields will help out any team, You look at where he could go, probably the Jets or the Jaguars, which are the dire teams, which are the teams that need a quarterback. But you also look, this is the perfect fit, and hear me out. The Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons need a quarterback. I didn't even know who their backup was until I remembered who Matt Schwab was. Besides that, Matt Ryan, 35 years old. Get Justin Fields, start developing him, and Matt Ryan is probably not going to be the guy anymore in Atlanta. They need a star quarterback. They need a young quarterback, first of all. You could also take the guy from BYU. I think it's Zach Moss, I think is his name. I'm probably wrong. Again, you already saw his name. I have to see it once I edit this. But Justin Fields could be the guy for this team moving forward. I didn't add him there because it's probably going to be either Jacksonville or New York. But I like this fit for Justin Fields heading to Atlanta. Now, I will probably cover that in my first mock draft, which I think will be in 2 weeks. Probably after the Super Bowl ends, though, because that's when we'll know most of the order in the draft. My next player is Penny Sowell. Penny Sowell is easily the best lineman in the draft. Offensive lineman, 6'6", weighing 331 pounds. This man's a monster. A lot of teams need him. For example, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Giants could use him. The Panthers. Pretty much, he's going to be a top 5, top 10 pick in this year's draft. Probably pick going to the Bengals at number 4. That's what I'm thinking. Probably that's what's going to happen. The next player is the second best wide receiver in this year's draft, Jamar Chase. I have him at my 5th. I have him ranked 5th in my big board. Even though he did opt out. He's one of those guys who the draft stock did not affect him because he did win the Biletnikoff Award. In his 29th season, 84 receptions, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns, which is really good for a wide. It's crazy, just like I said. Easily a top 5 pick. Again, the Dolphins, the Eagles could really use this man because I told you guys, Justin Jefferson should have been the guy to go to the Eagles. But yeah, he's going to be a top 10 pick, and I expect either the Eagles or the Dolphins to go after him. Next player is Jalen Waddle. This is a receiver heavy draft. So this is why he's so low at number 6, which is not really low. He's a top 10 player in my draft board. But I mean, he had some great receivers like Chase and Smith. Jamar Chase and Devonta Smith. So he's competing with them to see who's that best receiver. And there's another receiver coming up, not right now, but I think he's my last receiver on this board. So these stats aren't crazy, which I'm talking about the 25 receptions for 557 yards for 4 touchdowns. That's not that good. But you're playing with Devonta Smith, so it's kind of explainable. He's easily going to be a top 15 player in this draft. I expect a good fit for this guy would be the Giants. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the Giants for him. But the Giants do need help on the defensive side, not as much as the offense. They need an offensive lineman. That's why Penny Sowell is here. And the next couple in the other offensive linemen, I'm going to put in this big board. That's in the top 15. Next player is Micah Parsons. This is probably the best linebacker in the draft. He was the first defensive player in my mock draft, in my big board, and he did opt out of the 2020 season, but that does not affect him either way. He had a good season, 5 sacks, which is really good in his career at Penn State. He also had 99 solo sacks, 6.5 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles in that time in the 2019 season. He will easily be a top 5 pick, and I will talk about the team that should pick him up later. Patrick Surtain, the second cornerback, best cornerback in the draft. Easily the best cornerback. Had 1 interception, 20 solo, 11 PDs. This isn't a cornerback-heavy draft, so therefore he is the best corner. Those are weak stats, but I see him going from pick 10 on. I don't see him going into the top 5 at all unless a team really thinks this guy is going to go in the top 10 or top 5. I could see a team possibly moving back to take him or moving up, depending what the situation is with the other defensive players. Now, usually tight ends do not make the big board top 10, but this guy does. My number 9 player is Kyle Pitts out of Florida State, out of the Gators, Florida University. I think that's what it's called. I'm not a Gators fan, so I'm not too sure. But this is a tight end weak class. This is a weak tight end class. Only 2 good tight ends. The other one did not make my top 15. Pitts is the best out of the bunch. He will for sure not be. He will not be in the top 10. I'm probably expecting mid-first round for him, possibly even started the second. Now, he did have 43 receptions for 770 yards, along with 12 touchdowns. A good fit for this guy would be the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles could easily move back, and I say this because probably Zach Ertz is gone this season after everything. Now, another opt-out player at my number 10 spot is Gregory Rousseau. He is an edge rusher, a.k.a. a defensive end. He does crack in my top 10. He opted out of the 2020 season, which did not hurt the draft stock that much. He is the second best edge rusher on the PFF big board, but the best on my board. So I consider him the best on my board. I give him the opt out, which I didn't include the opt out for this guy actually. So in 2019, Rousseau had 34 solo, 15.5 sacks with 20 assists and 2 forced fumbles. Those are God stats. For a defensive lineman, that's really good. And a team that could take him It depends, man. I mean, Carolina could be a good fit for him. Miami, the Dolphins could take hometown guy. It really does depend where this starts. Now he could also go with the second round. I'm not gonna take that. I'm gonna put that in the factor, which of because of his opt out, we didn't see him in the 2020 season. He could probably go in the second round. Then we have Samuel Cosme, offensive tackle. He is a lot. He's taller than Penny Sowell. That's why I put him in my top 15, and why I think he is gonna go top 15, top 20. A good team to take him would be probably the Giants if they want to move back, or the Saints, which is a team who needs an offensive tackle, in my opinion. He is standing at 6'9", 309 pounds. This man is waiting to be unleashed and will help any offensive line and any team. Now, my first running back is Najee Harris. Najee Harris is the first running back on the big board. On my big board, he's actually not even in the top 50 on the PFF big board, but I do want to include all positions, at least one of every position in my big board at the top 15. So I did include Najee Harris, the first running back on our big board. Najee Harris, an absolute stud, which I expect him to go in the bottom of the first round, possibly even started second. A team that I looked into that roster was the Chargers and the Patriots. The Patriots do have Sony Michel, but I don't think that's enough, and it could be like a dual threat kind of situation. The Dolphins ran this last year with Salvin Ahmed and Myles Gaskin. The Chargers, another team, they had Kalen Ballage. They did not have Austin Eckler. You don't know how Eckler could return. So it does depend. It does depend what happened there. Caleb Farley, cornerback. He is competing for the best corner in the draft, in my opinion, because this is, again, a weak cornerback draft. And I could see it's going to be between him and Surtain to see. So he could go to wherever Surtain goes is where he goes, and it works vice versa. Wherever he goes, Surtain most likely is where he will go in the draft. This could easily be second rounder for him. If you remember a couple years ago, Greedy, the cornerback for the Cleveland Browns, he was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He wound up going mid-second round, lower second round, I'm pretty sure. So Caleb Farley, again, good player. I actually forgot to put his stats up, but I will probably put him on the screen. A good team for him and Surtain would be the Seahawks. This is easily one of the teams that needs a corner. This is probably the best fit for him and Surtain. Now, player number 14, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. This guy is second best lineman in the draft. Had to crack my top 15. 42 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. Which these stats, he should be going in the top 10, in my opinion. Mel Kiper, I think, put him in the top 10 in his quick mock draft, like a fake mock draft. But a team that really could take him is the Carolina Panthers because they passed up on Isaiah Simmons and another play and Micah Parsons. This is why I was going to wait to talk about Micah Parsons a little more in his draft position. These guys are top 10 players. It just depends who moves up or back. This is a draft class who we don't know what could happen at pick 1 or 2. No one knows who's the guy at number 1. In my opinion, and mainly 90% of the world that watches football knows about football, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. But you don't know because Jacksonville now has that number 1 overall pick. Urban Myers is possibly in for the coaching job. And I think Ryan Day is his name, the current coach at OSU, is up for that coaching spot too. So I could see Ryan Day, if he goes there, he might take Justin Fields with that number 1 pick. But besides the fact, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I expect him to go top 10, top 15 to a team that really needs a corner like the Carolina Panthers or the Seattle Seahawks could move up and snag him. And the final player on my big board is Rashod Bateman, the wide receiver out of Maryland. Now, before we start talking about Rashod Bateman, remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We are going to be dropping videos every Wednesday. Friday going to be trying to go live almost every Friday. And Saturday we drop a video. So this is Saturday's video, folks. This is being recorded on Tuesday but dropped Saturday. So remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you found on our last video, which was our NFL playoff predictions video. Go check that out if you haven't. So let's get into Rashod Bateman, wide receiver. He is supposed to be a top. He's a first-round talent. He's a first-round talent. I expect him to go in the first round. But as you see at the bottom of the description, he is a guy like Michael Pittman. I don't compare his game to Michael Pittman. I compare the way he went in the draft. He should have been an end of the first round guy, but went in the start of the second, right at the start. So it was I think it was DeAndre Swift or T Higgins. It was T Higgins, and then it was Michael Pittman. So that's what you look at. Bateman enters a receiving group that is very deep in this year's draft. So I'm not saying the Maryland receiving core is deep. I'm saying the draft, the receivers that are entering the draft, that group is very deep, which is why I have him at 15 on my board. As of now, this board is temporary, subject to change. Now, last season he had 36 receptions for 472 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looking at his stats, Bateman is not the kind of guy to score touchdowns, in my opinion. He's not a guy who they're going to use for touchdowns. He is going to be a guy who you have in the 2-minute drill, and you need a guy to move you up the field. You're going to give it to Rashod Bateman, and he's going to move you up the field. 472 yards, only 2 touchdowns, and he had 36 receptions. So that explains a lot. Looking at his stats, Bateman again. Looking at his stats, Bateman is more of a pass to him and let's move up the field by passing it to him. I say this because of two touchdowns, over 450 yards. So Bateman's a guy who I could see going to a team that is in need of a wide receiver. That team could easily be the Washington football team. I don't see him going in that early, though. I could see him going second round. Cincinnati needs one. New York, the Jets could take him in the second round. Jacksonville could use him. The Raiders could use him. The Dolphins, if we want to get a second round guy like Rashod Bateman, I would like this from Miami. So yeah, this is my big board for the top 15 players on my big board. So next Saturday you will be seeing 16 to 30, and if I made any changes on my top 15, I will let you guys know prior to that. Probably right before the Super Bowl, so the week of the Super Bowl, I'll be talking Super Bowl, and we'll be talking my first mock draft. So I'll announce when the mock draft comes out. You could go back in the video, you could check out the stats, you could check out the players. Remember to follow all the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. Join the Discord server, guys. The Discord server is going to be great. I could probably post a link to the PowerPoint that I have right here, and I'll be editing, and you guys can see all the edits I make to this. Remember to like and subscribe, follow us. I'll see if I could go live. But actually, wait, no, technically I already went live. So you'll be seeing the premiere video, which will probably be an MLB video or an NBA video talking about the first couple weeks of the NBA season. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.